Well, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for the City of Brentwood for Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. If you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, God, indivisible. Thank you, everyone. Next item of business is the roll call. Mr. Moran, could you please call the roll?
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sherry Bilderback.
Here.
Matt Favazza. Well, sorry, Mark Favazza.
Here.
Matt Foreman.
Here.
Jeff Hunt. Here. Jeff Moore.
Here.
Paul Moran here. Art Nelson.
Here.
Brian Nolan. Here. John Nurnberger. Here. John Ritter.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Moran. Next item of business is the approval of the agenda. The agenda has been distributed. Are there any changes or adjustments to the agenda? Seeing none, any objection to approval by acclamation? The agenda is approved. Next item of business is the approval of the September 11th, 2024 P&Z Commission meeting minutes. Those minutes have also been distributed. Are there any adjustments or changes that are needed? Seeing none, any objection to approval of the minutes by acclamation? The minutes from September 11th are approved. Do we have any citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda this evening? Anyone online? All right. We have no old business. We have two items of new business. We will move on to the first one, which is P&Z 24019. This is facade improvements, parking lot improvements, and a building addition at 350, 360, and 370 of Hanley Industrial Court for Carboline Global Incorporated. Is the applicant or their representative here this evening? If you could please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Business address is fine, and just tell us a little bit about your application this evening.
Sure. Good evening. I'm Tyson Pyle. I'm an architect with Arcturus. I'll just use my home address, 686 Sherwood Drive, Webster Groves, 63119. Tonight we have an application that to do a building, a new building infill, and like we said, street improvements along Hanley. This is sort of this is the latest in Carboline's commitment to upgrade their facility, to reinvest in their facility. I think when you see in the submittal, we're doing some reorganization of parking, trying to improve the overall entry experience for just employees of Carboline and any other guests that should arrive, and then also add much needed space immediately adjacent to their one of their testing facilities and labs. So I'll be here to answer any questions about what the proposal is, but effectively, I think the application really lays out the intent of what we intend to do. So.
And I do believe there's still an application that will be presented to the Board of Adjustment. Is that correct, for some of the work that's going to be done?
Correct.
Okay.
There is some, part of this are some non-conforming issues that are sort of existing non-conformance.
Excellent, thank you. We'll go to staff report in general. We do that and then call you back up if we have any questions from the commission, so appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Staff report, please, Ms. Kelly.
Sorry. So this is similar to the recently reviewed project at 8031 Litzinger. They have recently did a site consolidation to bring all of the properties within one site, so it gets rid of any setback issues within the internal property lines. Again, similar to the Litzinger property, the building at 350 and 360 Hanley Industrial Court are located approximately 24 feet from the property line, some at 20, which makes them non-conforming. Therefore, it is recommended that we review the project but continue it to the November meeting because it does have to proceed to the October 24th Board of Adjustment for their review. So providing any comments tonight will be helpful, and they can make those adjustments prior to the next meeting. Similarly, I'm going to get back to it. The They are doing a new building addition, approximately 3,000 square feet. That's in between their testing facility. I'm sorry, I don't have the I don't have the click share right now, but it's between the existing brick building at 350 Hanley Industrial Court and where the testing facility that was approved and built in 2017. It'll look similar to that building, and it's kind of tucked to the back of the 350. Therefore, we didn't have really an issue with the overall architectural design, considering it is a light industrial area and it's matching the existing. They are providing new landscaping in front of the buildings along with the awning that will be at 24 feet. So pretty much all I have right now.
I believe that in the
Oh.
staff report, there's also a review of parking. No
Correct.
issues particularly of concern. I understand that I think there's a net loss of 5, am I recalling correctly?
Correct.
Spots.
There's
with the addition.
5,
Yep.
yeah. There's
With-
net loss of 5. However, they have the large parking field at 406 Hanley Industrial Court that offers 160 spaces. The proposal was reviewed by our landscape architect, and he is here and he had some additional comments, so.
I think that would be appropriate, Frankie, if you wouldn't mind.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. My name is Andrew Frankie. I'm with Planning Design Studio, the city's on-call landscape architect. Just to bring you guys up to speed, we completed our first review of the petitioner's initial submittal on September 27th. Subsequently, the petitioner submitted revised information on October 3rd, and we reviewed and updated our comments on October 3rd. On October 6th, the petitioner formally responded to our initial comments. We supplemented our previous response on October 8th, and I believe that that's what you guys probably have in front of you. It's got a lot of different colors on it. We were just trying to keep track of everything as they were coming in. I'd like to run through it unless everybody's reviewed it already and is comfortable with it. I can go through it point by point quickly.
I think it would be appropriate, please do.
All right. Typically, we divide our comments into 2 areas, landscape plan items and site plan items. So I'll start with the landscape plan items. We asked to provide information on what the proposed landscape treatment would be for the lawn area west of the west parking lot. This area is still, this information is still outstanding. We haven't seen anything on that. Second point was we asked to provide information on what the proposed landscape treatment was for the area between the 2 buildings. And in the most recent submittal, we got that landscape plan and it looked really good to us, looks really attractive. So that was adequately addressed. Point 3, we requested the petitioner consider converting the parking lot end islands to planting areas to buffer the cars from the adjacent road. They have done that, but they still need to provide a landscape plan that shows what the proposed landscape planting is there. Fourth, we asked them to provide an irrigation system for the proposed planting areas, which is per your ordinance, and they adequately addressed that with a note. On the site plan items, we asked the petitioner to provide cut sheets or details of the proposed fences. They've partially done that. We're still waiting for additional information, so that's still outstanding. We asked that they provide a paved walkway from the flagstone stairs to the west parking lot. This was not initially addressed. They recently submitted sheets, but however, the sheets weren't really coordinated between the architectural sheets and the civil sheets. So we're asking that they coordinate those up so that they match. We, at this time, didn't see a connection. There's some flagstone stairs on that west end, and they just kind of go into the landscape. Really, all they need to do is just provide a connecting walk, whatever it is, and it'll be fine. On the second page, we asked them to consider adding wheel stops to the parking spaces in the west parking lot. This was an especially concern because it was close to the parking lot. They did that, so that was adequately addressed. We asked that they confirm the accessibility of the route from the ADA spots into the building door. That was adequately addressed. That they confirm that all the ADA parking spots would actually be ADA. When we went out there, it looked kind of steep. We didn't lay a slope stick on it. We're taking them at their word that it will meet, so.
That
that's
includes
the
the
rest.
two new ones that were being added, Mr. Frankie, is that correct?
Pardon me?
Is that the two new ones that'll be added? Thank you.
We asked that they indicate on the site plan where the dumpsters would be located. They adequately addressed that. They provided fencing details. We had a concern about the backup space for the infill building, and that there wasn't enough room near the. I believe the petitioner's still working on how to address that. It's still outstanding. We also finally asked them to indicate the extent of the proposed retaining walls on that parking lot. In the middle, they partially addressed it, but now it's been adequately addressed. So that's kind of where we stand right now on the information that they've provided.
Actually, for the petitioner, Mr. Frankie, from Arcturus's perspective, do you think there's any concerns with making sure that those are addressed by the next meeting that we'll have, which will be after the Board of Adjustment? Thank you. Any other questions from members? Sorry, Mr. Kelly.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I did want to point out, we received a public comment that was also uploaded into Board Docs this afternoon. They just wanted to make sure there was a discussion in this meeting regarding any displacement of floodwaters, if applicable. I'm not sure exactly where the proposed addition lies, and what will be done to mitigate impact on any displacement on the neighboring properties. The addition is over existing hardscape, so therefore no stormwater is required, and they will be submitting a floodplain permit, which
Okay.
is required.
Yeah, but I appreciate you noting that, and obviously that is a concern. We don't want to add to any of the runoff, but as noted, it will be over existing hardscape, so it's not changing the profile. Changing the profile, it's not changing the runoff. All right. Any questions for Mr. Frankie from the commission? Of course, Mr. Foreman. Please.
Oh, wait, no, not for him, for our applicant.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Any questions for Mr. Frankie while he's there, so we don't have to have people bop up and down? Thank you, Mr. Frankie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mr. Foreman, if you could please, since we are recording this. Thank you. Please.
My understanding is they're coming back here.
General practice is that since we still have something that will be put in front of the Board of Adjustment, that it is inappropriate for us to make a recommendation to the Board of Aldermen at this point. We have to get, I believe, the pergola and the setback is what is being asked for the variance. And so once that is complete, they will return to us. So rather than having to go to site plan, we get this meeting to ask questions and the next meeting to make sure everything is resolved and ask any more questions.
All right, so in general, supportive of this submission, like what you're doing. However, to dog pile on, there are discrepancies between architectural and civil that are enough scope that what we have submitted, I wouldn't approve because of that discrepancy. So starting with the new building, I understand we're being told it's match existing, but there's only 35 linear feet of facade. You can give us a couple of elevations.
Aren't there elevations in this submittal?
There are.
Page 4.
The 823 package has three-dimensional images, renderings in the corner, but no elevations.
Correct. It's on the later one.
10.324 does not have elevations.
I believe it was on the 923. The one dated. Can you pass me that click share that's on top of your? That's the one I put in the staff report. If you look on the attachment that says materials submitted 9/23/2024.
All right, I'll pull those up and look at those in a second. That's why I was asking about version control, if there'd been anything else submitted past the ones that were posted on board docs. The note on the corner where the truck clearance is, you have bollards all the way around the planting beds except at the corner, and none of the bollards are showing in any of the elevations. Echoing the concern for the handicap ramp, there's no spot elevations. My only concern is if it goes over 1 to 20, then you're gonna need guardrails, which may impinge on the parking spaces. So double checking the elevations seemed like a valid comment on that one. The dumpster next to the loading dock enclosure does not match between architectural and civil. You're showing 2 pairs of doors with 2 smaller dumpsters. Civil's still showing 1 big dumpster with 1 pair of doors. The enclosures actually, or the cover over the loading dock, it's already installed, so I'm not really gonna worry about comments on that. However, it looks like you pulled the door off of 360, toothed in a new door. So the masonry and the grout are all still there, so I'm curious what your plan is for the front of that building, just to paint it out back white and leave it the way it is, or if anything else is gonna be done where that surround is. Column at the corner of the new, I'm just gonna roll through this, keep a list. We can see them next time. You don't really need to answer these. Looking at the rendering on the 923 package, or I'm sorry, 823 package, showing 2 of the steel beams coming down through grade, and then the 3D model, the one of them actually goes all the way down through grade, but I understand why you're doing it, because it's just a planting bed, but that feels like it really should have a concrete base up to grade in the planting bed, instead of taking the steel all the way down through the planting bed.
It would go down to a concrete footing. Wait, noted,
You're gonna put that much dirt around the steel? Sorry.
noted.
Editorial comment, because nobody should see it, sorry. The ramp at the test yard, you're showing it as, the stairs is demolished. I don't know if the overhead signage is staying or not. That wasn't clear. May have already been removed. All the roofing material was stacked there. Then, so in the civil, they're showing a new ramp coming in, and the outline, I may have to check the 923, but the outline of the planting bed outside of the yard did not match between architectural and civil. Some of them are showing angled, some of them are showing a full angle, some of them are showing smaller angles. And I'm assuming because it's hatched out with the rest of the paving that the run of 3 or 4 stairs is going away as well. Oh, the trash enclosure in the notch in the building between the new and existing doesn't match between architectural and civil. So, all of that really nerdy stuff said, it's still gonna look better than what's there, and I'm still in favor of it, but we should have consistent documents when we approve.
I 100% agree, Mr. Foreman. And it takes an architect sometimes to spot a few of those things. Version control is a challenge, and we understand that, I will say, I appreciate the fact that some of this version control is in response to the landscape architect's asks and the consultant's requirements. I'm sure as traffic as well, so we appreciate that. For the next review, yes, the simplification, making sure we're looking at the last and final would be helpful, so we appreciate that. Anything else, Mr. Foreman? Yep, the existing, yep.
So from the 923 package, essentially, the vast majority of the 35 linear feet of new facade is garage doors and man doors.
Correct.
Okay. But they are tucked back in there, so, you know. And what's the surround on that? Is that, I mean, it's next to it's between all the other stuff. Is that painted out? I'm assuming you're not doing brick veneer on that.
For the new construction?
Right.
No, it'd be metal siding to match the most recent addition.
Got it. Thank you.
I think Ms. Kelly's question, I'm right about the trash enclosure, right? It is screened, it is enclosed, it is in light industrial area. And as mentioned, it's an improvement, but I do think that that's something, if folks have concerns about that, it's important to raise now since that will require an adjustment, but it is a tight land, or a tight site.
I would say that the aluminum doors he has specified are actually rather nice,
It is an improvement,
as far as dumpster enclosures go.
a significant improvement. Mr. Foreman, anything else?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Other members of the commission? All right, seeing none. Any members of the public wishing to address the applicant on this application? I do appreciate the willingness to take the input into consideration from both our consultants and from the commission, and we look forward to obviously hearing the results of the Board of Adjustment and then seeing next month if we have a motion. Do I have a motion on this application?
I make a motion that we postpone consideration of this plan until our next full meeting.
Ms. Bilderbeck, there's a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. It will be carried over to the November, what's our date? Do we have a date? The November 13th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Next item of business is P&Z 2420. This is a text amendment regarding fence regulations for corner lots of the city of Brentwood. Ms. Bilderback informed me that even though I was like, didn't we just do this? And it was like, no, it was 2 years ago, which apparently is like dog years with planning and zoning commissions or something like that. Or I don't know. It seems like it wasn't that long ago. Staff report, please, Ms. Kelly. It was 2 years ago. If I recall correctly, Ms. Kelly, didn't we also have a similar language about an ornamental fence? I know it was open, we had some ratios in there, but the intent was, from at least what I recall our discussion, was an ornamental design. Is it also the recommendations with the strike-through eliminate, is it a grandfathering? Is that what I'm, yeah, okay. basically in section A, or this is 2400A, we're just eliminating the grandfathering, which really would apply. In section B, we're. Right.
Adding the 5-foot.
Yep. Yep. New red text in section D1A. And I will note, which was at the beginning of this, that the Board of Adjustment has approved all 6 of the variance applications that have come in front of them for this. Oh, did they? All right, sorry. That was 6, okay. I didn't know if these, all right, 1, 2, all right. These were all the ones that they approved. All right, so in general, they have been supportive of approvals of these. All right, thank you for the staff report. Any questions for Ms. Kelly on this? Any discussion? Ms. Bilderbeck?
I don't have any questions, but my thought is I think it's fine.
Anyone else? Actually, excuse me, for this, we do the same thing, yes. Is there any member of the public wishing to address the commission on this, which we do for text amendments as well? I know one member of the audience probably will not, but. Thank you. And do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a recommendation to the Board of Aldermen that we approve this fence text amendment as submitted from the city staff.
Motion, is there a second? Second by Mr. Nurnberger. Roll call vote, please.
Sherry Bilderbeck,
Yes.
Mark Vavaza,
Yes.
Matt Foreman,
Yes.
Jeff Hunt,
Yes.
Jeff Moore,
Yes.
Paul Moran, yeah. Brian Nolan, John Nurnberger, John Ritter.
Yes.
It's unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Moran. Thank you, everyone, for that. The next item of business is aldermanic report. Seeing no alderman, director's report, please. Okay. And we will have one item of old business, assuming the Board of Adjustment approves that. All right. Any other items for the good of the commission? With that, is there a motion to adjourn? No one wants to.
To adjourn?
We've got a motion to have a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All the rest can stick around. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, everyone.